All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out so everybody can join in here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, 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 good. Good stuff. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. What a day, right? Yesterday we were talking, we were up 35 points, and today we're talking and we're down 23 points. So futures are up a little bit right now, so we'll see how that finishes in the morning. Obviously, it can go either way these days. So right now, right, the month is still red, right? I was working on a little bit more of a hammer, as of yesterday, and today it's kind of turning into more of like a thicker kind of spinning top here. It's all coming off of this topping tail off of the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly chart. So definitely something to look at in the future. Anytime we get to those levels. So from there, a weekly chart, still an inside week. Kind of boring right now. I mean, still kind of the real bodies or the real meat of this price action has been kind of like at this zone, right? So it's 29. Look at that, 2,900 back to 2,900 if you can believe it. Daily chart. So we were looking yesterday. It was kind of a key level, right? Is that we gapped up. And we pushed above this downward trend line, right? So it was really, really a key move. And what we wanted to see is price action to push above yesterday's high, and we didn't even get close today, right? We gapped down a little bit and then kind of flushed down. And honestly, now it looks like we're just targeting this gap below. So we'll see what they do tomorrow. See what they do with the futures. See if they get us down here, right? But we have this open gap here now, so it's kind of critical, right, for us to observe, right? Strong magnet below. So every time we have this big gap up, especially in a high volatility market, right? This becomes a big magnet. So let's take a look at the price action here today. And again, these are the levels that we look at every day, right? This is what we tweet out to our also in the positive trends group. And so you can see here we gapped down this morning, right? And really interesting, we had a really strong bar at the close here that pushed down. We got this continuation move at the open from yesterday, right? And then we came down, we got to the daily S2 level here, gave a nice hammer, right? Kind of worked our way up, gave us a go bar here, and then pushed all the way up, right, to the daily pivot level, right, where it found resistance, came back down, chopped around a little bit around the cloud, and then pushed its way back down into the close. So all in all, right, a general trend day down. Right, so one quick reversal today, and that was it, and back down. So definitely something to keep note of, and something to think of too. When we're looking for trades, that hey, just always remember, even though we're going up, right, we got a magnet down there, right, that we can look for. So here we had an inside bar right here at the daily pivot level, and back down, right. So definitely good stuff to keep an eye on there. So what did that do here with the macro chart? Right, as we know, and we've been talking about this for a while. Right, we've been working on this channel all the way through 2018 to 2019, right, and then back down, Christmas reversal, back up in 2019 here, holding the bottom of the channel up to the pitchfork midpoint line, down the median line, back up to the upper pitchfork here. So I'm up to upper channel. And so with no coincidence that once we got to this level, right, we came down off of it, right. So I mean that's how channels like to work, right. So. So basically we pushed down off of there, hit the median line now, and then we basically have these former all-time highs here, and then we broke through it, right? And so this is obviously a big congestion zone, very important area. So it becomes a resistance zone under the 50-day moving average, and then we're kind of pulling off of that here, right? And so now again, red day. So I mean, what do? Fill the gap. Maybe fill this gap, touch the pitchfork median line again, and then work our way back up. Possibly, we'll have to see how that all plays out. So that's where we're at. Pretty amazing stuff, right? So good stuff. So basically today, I just want to kind of continue the conversation about the turtles, right? The turtle trading method, right? So originally we talked about just kind of what the method was, which is basically they trade breakouts, right? And they didn't trade SPX, right? They didn't trade S&P. They traded commodities futures, right? But either way, in general the method is interesting, right? So. Now, apply it in this market is very, very difficult, right? If you're in a trending market, right, it's a lot better. And what they want to do is they want to catch those big moves, right? So it's something to think about, right? And it's something for us to, consider as traders, right? So a lot of times, you guys hear me say all the time, remember your risk first. And it is true. You always want to know your risk before going into trade, right? Because that's the most important thing, right? That's your capital, right? So you have to know how much you're risking. You have to know how much of the account you're risking, and how much on the trade you're risking, how confident you are in the setup, and it's based on the the consistency of the setup and how often it works, right? And so, but the next phase of that, right, and sort of the big kind of thing here is where where they get out, right? And where do we get out, right, in our trades? And so, when is enough enough? When do we let this thing go? So we'll talk a little bit later in the week about like some option strategies for this, and options are a lot harder, right, than just holding, shares, right? With shares, you can handle like ups and downs and some chop for a while, like even like in here before it moves, but in options that really can destroy the premium, right? And you really have to move even farther, for those options to really work. So with options, we have to be right in three ways, right? We have to be right in direction, we have to be right in time, and we have to be right in momentum, right? So it actually has to move, right? So like here, if we got calls here, right, that's good, right? We got the direction right, we got the time right, and it moved, right, boom, 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 like that. So that makes the options the best, right? That's when options beats, having shares. But shares, if you can hold it, you can hold shares, for whatever, as long as you're, have the capital to hold it, right? So it's kind of like the big difference between the two, right? So as option traders, we focus on three. We have to be like super skilled in like three areas, right? But this is what these guys did. So with their exits, well, the main thing they did, right, and it's crazy if you think about it. So once they had a breakout, once they traded their breakout, they held for 10 days, and then set their stop essentially at the low of that 10-day period. Okay, so here let's kind of just take a look. So let's say let's say they got this breakout right here. Okay, so they would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so basically the low would really be like kind of right here. I mean, or that pivot right there. So their stop is now here, basically right where they entered. They're break even, and they're all the way up here, right? The enter, like just for instance here, that's 2683, right? And then 2816, right? I mean, basically up 200 points already. And then they had to deal with this pullback, right here. They would have to deal with this pullback, right? So where they were only up at this point 2678, to 2750. So they were up 100 points and then back down 50, right? And so that's what really made it hard, with their trading system. And when some of the turtles in their interview, they're like, that was the hardest thing. It's like because they'd be up 100%, and then they'd have to deal with these pullbacks. But the idea is the way the system worked is that they lost the majority of the time, and that was the hardest part, right? The majority of their trades were losers, right? It was the ones that they let run, right, that really paid for everything, right? So ultimately here, they very very likely, I'm not going to count through 10 of all of these, right? Because the other trading system was like they do the 20-day low, right? When they do with a 50-day breakout. Right, and so here, like if they got here, I mean, yeah, they would have had to deal with this. They were way up here, right? They would have had to deal with this whole pullback, right? But it's all good because they got up here, right? And then it just depends, it depends where they're at right there. So the whole concept of their trading system was to take advantage of the big move, right? So personally, that's really cool and that's great, and they made a lot of money doing it, and it was a different world back then, and things trended a little bit differently. Today, as option traders, we can't do that, right? We'll talk about that more later this week, but I mean, we just can't. We have to take advantage. We have to take profit. We have to, and look for our best setups, either intraday or on a shorter term basis, or for longer swing traders, we do call spreads, things like that. So, but anyway, it's really really interesting stuff, and but it brings to light, right, the tactic of trying to how important it is for us to know our exits too, right? And what are we going for when we do a trade? And like, is it more worth it for us to take a stop or to take a small profit or to try to let things go? And so that's kind of the key, right? Now, I'm always happy with just having green, right? So just being green is good, right? So, but there are setups where you want to go for like, depending on what the price of an option is or something like that, you want to go for 20 cents, right? Depending, if you're trading SPY, 10 cents, 10 to 15 cents is a good trade, right? If you're trading SPX, 40 to 50 cents is a good trade. Now, granted, eventually you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-point trades, right? So, and you want those, but if you can consistently make, a certain amount, like 20 cents, 50 cents, something like that, you're good, right? Because then you could always just increase size. As long as your system is good, you increase size and you're making, instead of one contract, you get 2 contracts, and you can see how that adds up over time with a consistent system. So anyway, that was one of their things. The other thing is, one of the other tactics that they had was they didn't market into orders. They never set stops, right? They never like to disclose, to the brokers, like where their positions were, like, and it's okay. I mean, when somebody gives you $1 million to trade with, right, you could set visual stops because it's like, all right, whatever, okay, so one of them I stop like 20 points. Okay, I'm out of the position, right? For us, it's like 20 points could be like just devastating, right? So for us, I'm always fine with having stops at the broker, right? I mean, we're not moving markets here, right? We're just trying to get our fair share. So, and there's rumors about stop hunters and all that stuff, and sometimes there is, but I mean, if you can really time the move correctly, it's never a big deal, right? You can always get out. You can always make profit if it works, right? So that's kind of the idea there. I think the other tactic that they used, other than limit orders, if they have fast markets, right? So with us, with option traders, right, we want fast market. We want these things to move, right? Because that's where we profit from. But with them, they would avoid, quick, fast moves and wait for a pullback to their area before taking their entry. So here they might have avoided if it was really fast up, and this is how this came back to that entry point right here. They might have waited to grab that, right? So, and the reason is because the faster and faster it goes, if they mark it in, then they get caught up here, and then they're in a bad position, right? So that's kind of one of their tactics that they use too. So, and that was pretty much it. They bought strength, sold weakness, and there was a little bit in kind of in some of the reading about like how they rolled over contracts, futures contracts, but I think that's beyond the kind of the scope of what we talk about here. So we could look at rolling over options contracts, but really. For me, I mean, we're good enough, making, holding for like a week or two and not having to worry about holding for multiple months, right? If you're that wrong on a trade, why keep yourself in the trade? I mean, and now if it's still going and going and going, I don't know. I have yet to see one that does that. So for like something that just keeps going for months, right? Except for like Vive for a while. But anyway, so some pretty cool stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of share that with you. We'll kind of wrap up with the rest of the week. Kind of wrap up tomorrow, and then we'll talk about kind of how to apply some of this stuff to options. For we'll talk about that on Thursday. So, but anyway, at this point, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up by 10:30 or so. So we can all get a good night's sleep and be ready for another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. Alpesh, what's happening? Hello. Julian, thumbs up, my friend. Good to see you. Sarah, good evening. Call saw, hey. Some sick reversals today. This is true. Tariff man must have been busy. That's right. YOLO'd all my capital. Really bad spot right now. YOLO'd all my capital. So, Paul, what's going on? Sell the rip. Harvey, what's happening? Good to see you, man. MG, go. That's right, the go bar. Exactly, go bars are awesome. So the more we discover about these go bars, the more fantastic they are, right? So it's a subscriber exclusive, right? So, but yeah, it's great. I mean, these things are popping up everywhere and they're fantastic. So enjoy life apparel. What's going on? Good evening, Wendy. Good morning. How's everything in Singapore? Hope everything's good. Nudie poo, ACB and pays. Yeah, let's take a look. So ACB. Look at some chats. Let's go back here. There we go. So ACB and pays. So let's take a look. So ACB, Aurora, we've got earnings coming up at September, ish. So there's time, right? We had this trend line here, and actually this trend line is still good. I'm just going to remove it real quick and then just draw a fresh one here. So here's our lows. And here is the pivot. So trend is still down, right, until proven otherwise. We do have a possible inverted bump and run here. So just something to keep an eye on, right? So if it gets above this trend line, gets over this volumetric level, this kind of 619 level, it might kind of bump up, try to work its way up to 688. If you get over that, it can maybe minor pivot and then start working its way back up again. But probably only earnings could really move it, anything like that. And then pays. This is a speculator favorite. Wow. Yeah. No wonder he likes it so much, right? Because when this thing moves, it moves, right? So big move today, even with a 23-point down market today, right? This thing is super duper strong, right? And then, really just following this uptrend right here. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little consolidation here, maybe tested that trend again, and then kind of work its way up. But yeah, very, very bullish. Nice chart. Brad, what's happening? Good to see you, man. Wendy, Snap, GS, and Baidu. Yeah, so Snap, let's take a look. So my friend Smart Money Options, he saw this the other day. He saw some flow coming into this one, which is really cool after earnings, right? And we like this, guys. This is one of the things that we like. We like these pullbacks after after a nice earnings gap, we like a pullback to our key levels, right? So we like this, one pullback here, one, two, right? Now we had a little breakout here today out of the downward trend line. It came back in, right? So what this could be working on is maybe a one, two, and then kind of maybe rolling over, giving us a three, and then that could kind of go off of that. So sometimes we get those nice, one, two, three pullbacks after these gaps, and then we see like a big move off of that. So it's something to look for. GS. Goldman Sachs Group. Wow, they came out today and like they're doing like a Goldman Sachs Apple credit card or something like that, which is really corny to me. But like it's like Goldman Sachs is supposed to be, the premier investment banking and wealth management firm, and then they're doing like subprime credit cards. It's like, really? So, but anyway, the CEO of Goldman Sachs was like said some big stuff about Apple today, and Apple got a huge move, even the market was down. So, basically what we're seeing right here, Goldman Sachs, right? We had a minor pivot up here, kind of came back. We're seeing a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of these like kind of breakouts of these downward trend lines, and then retests now of the downward trend line. So what it's doing is it's being annoying, right? So a lot of these it's just making it where we have to wait, right? And then what's annoying about that is that like, sometimes we take our eyes off of these things, and let's say it chops around, it kind of moves down here for a little bit, and then it finally breaks that level, maybe like, mid-September, and then it goes, and we're like, oh, I knew that, I knew it was going to do that, but then we miss it, so these are good to always like kind of go through these watch lists and kind of see what they're doing. Right. So, but interesting stuff here. Lots of little pullbacks today off of these downward trend line breaks, which is like, which is annoying because we like to catch those breakouts. So, but anyway, Baidu. So cool stuff. This is one that we look at, in the opening live stream, right? So big move up, right? But one of the keys with this today is it didn't get over a couple of these kind of major minor pivots. We call it gap and go levels, right? So the GG1 level here, it never got close to it. So when we see those on earnings, right, we can trade reversals on those. And so that's what happened today. If you go to the 3-minute chart, actually, here's a good 3-minute chart right here. You go to the 3-minute chart, and what you can see is, you have all this pre-market info, right? Kind of pushed us right in, and we had this the low, the pre-market low here, flushed right through a big momentum move off of that, right? And then we look for other setups when we get in there, right? So we look in here, all right, we got back in, right? So we look for another short, right? Because the idea is this thing is reversing down because it could not get strength to get over this with its gap, can get over here, right? So it's kind of the key that it has to do. So that's why I just kind of drifted back down today. So at this point, right, it's got a bunch of resistance ahead, and I would just use some caution, kind of going forward with this one. So a nice gap up, but I think over time it's going to work and start chipping away at this gap. So just be careful with that. My pleasure. Paul, what's happening, Z? Let's take a look. All right. So this actually looks really nice, guys. So if we put this trend line on here, it's got a really beautiful minor pivot right here. So you have this as your low, right? And then basically that's the prior one. So what it did is it gave kind of a round, nice minor pivot here. So breakout over yesterday's high could be pretty strong for this, right? Could be a nice reversal move for it. And it's holding these volumetric levels pretty well. So basically a move over 3650, could start to work its way up. You got your 200-day moving average here at 38, right? So it's a good possible target, right? And then, a couple of these other levels up here that it could work for. So that's good. Eric, what's happening? Hope everything went well. Trade Center, what's going on? Hola. Heather Falcons, good evening. Roku. Yeah, let's take a look. So, was wonderful for us this morning. So Positive Trends Group, we swung this overnight using some of our techniques, and had a we're hoping for a gap up today, and what we ended up getting was just the next best thing, which is a huge push into the open, right? So this ended up, we're here, to the close yesterday. It's kind of flat, and then hello profit. So we got to take that. So that was beautiful, and then look at that, just kind of gave it all. We took profit up here, then then back here. So it's basically just flat on from yesterday. So that's pretty cool. And so let's take a look and see what it's doing. So it did put a topping tail in today based on that, right? So you basically had your up move, so that gave you the topping tail, and we drifted back down, right? So we'll see if it holds. If not, it might give a little more sideways movement here to this upward trend line, because we are now trending back up, right? So we might see that, and then we might see another possible opportunity for a swing entry on that, which would be pretty cool. So good stuff. Holy man, what's going on? Shop. Oh my goodness. I wish I could have bragged about this one today, saying I had an entry, but we did see some entries at the open. It's tricky, right? So we had this big consolidation zone, guys, and actually, you kind of look at this thing and you're like, yeah, maybe. Did we talk about this? Like this was like I can't remember when we drew this box, but basically a breakout over this level, right, was good, right? So I love how it came back and tested this level. I mean, what a perfect area back tested this level to potentially swing long, and to hold through this would have been incredible, all the way from 351 up to 376. Just a nice move there. And today, very, very strong movement, just like little bull flags here and there, to give a huge move. And it actually, unlike Shop, normally likes to shop and then drop, but Shop just kind of dropped a little bit and came back up. So I mean, they're buying this thing. I mean, it's getting some big volume bars coming in this. So I mean, 376. I mean, I love it how like a company like this is, Shopify like is more than like Apple. I mean, it's actually more than it's almost more than Nvidia and Apple combined. The prices. It's like, really? What do they do? Like Shop? Like they make like a thing? Anyway, but yeah, so it's I mean, super bullish, right? All-time highs. So I mean, now it's tough to buy up here, but I mean the trend is up until proven otherwise, right? So you have here, so little pullbacks and stuff like that during the day. We could look for setups, possible go bars through there, that type of thing. So yeah, so very, very nice there on Shop. And then Colossal Fram, Facebook. Lots of these are doing the same thing. So Facebook's a good example, right? Downward trend line. As soon as it pops up for us here, downward trend line, right? Minor pivot here, pull back to test. So it's got to get over yesterday's high, right? Roku we just looked at. Apple. Right. So here, right? I mean, we got resistance, right? So here, let's wait till all my drawings show up. So here, this level right here, you see how I kind of put a little upper shadow right there, right? And look at that upper shadow. It's all the same levels, right? So this 213 area, 213.50 is really, really key Apple to try to get above, right? And then ultimately 220, right? So and then it'll get to all-time highs basically. So if we can get over that, so very, very possible. So yeah, so that's Apple. Amazon, I just got email. More insider selling going on. Bezos was selling, and now like multiple directors or executives, are selling positions in Amazon. So I don't know if they know something, but all I know is that like it's not going anywhere, right? It's below the fib fan line right here. Let's take a look at the weekly chart real quick and just see how that's looking. If it's anything compared to, double inside week forming, guys, on Amazon. So keep an eye on this. If we close with a double inside week, we might want to consider a straddle on that. Look what it did last time it had a double inside week. Look at that. Right? So, I mean, here it might go, but either way, double inside week, I reckon it's going to go one way or the other. So very, very interesting stuff. And with insider selling, it might be to the weak side. We'll have to see. So pretty cool stuff there. Okay. Yep. So there's Amazon and Microsoft, yes. I was like, what's M? So you're taking Netflix and Nvidia all the way up. That's cool. Microsoft, nice pullback. 50-day move. Loves this 50-day moving average. It loves it. So let's see if we can bounce off of it a little bit, right? Like it did here, right? Maybe it'll undershoot it a little bit and then give a try to the upside. Okay. So again, still below this channel up here. I'm almost feeling like we should move this channel down at this point, right? Maybe a new channel. Here. Here. And there, right? Something like that, right? Because this is, here, right? So middle of the channel basically. So maybe it'll give us a little pullback here again and then for a long. So something to look at. And that's good. Good stuff. Fishy Bob, what's happening? A second on Roku. All right, we'll take another look at Roku one more time. Okay, so Roku, awesome trade this morning, right? Nice swing into the open. Gave us that topping deal today. Trend is still up until proven otherwise, right? So it might pull back a little bit, but we'll watch this upward trend line right here. Very, very key stuff on that. Jay, what's happening? Hello, hello. Dennis, what's going on? What's my opinion on the rating services? They seem to be in bed with somebody, or is it me? So I don't know. You tell me. Yeah, no, but seriously, yeah, like you're talking about like the big banks and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean they are. I mean, who can really say that they have like any sort of non-bias analysis on things, right? I mean, because these guys are big investment banks, right? I mean, so like one of the things that they do, right, is they court these big companies to like earn their investment banking business or to help them go public and all that stuff. So I mean, you can't say that that they're gonna in one hand they're gonna be like downgrading the company, and then two they're trying to get their business, right? So it's you know pretty interesting stuff, right? But the one thing it does for us as traders, right, day traders, particularly sometimes swing traders, right, for that matter. But if you're into investments and all that stuff, you're in the wrong YouTube channel. Because we YOLO here. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. So we look at day trading, we look at potential swing trades and all that stuff, right? But we do technical analysis. We like to go at the movement of the markets, right? So we like to follow price, and so so with these guys, right, they help us a little bit, right? They give us sometimes they give us nice gap ups, right? Like Beyond today, right? So Beyond was like beyond just silly, right? I think what was it, J.P. Morgan or Morgan Stanley, one of these guys, like upgraded Beyond today like $1. And then it like gapped up like $10 and finished here with a doji, right? So I mean, either they got caught in this big red bar mess right here, this 27 point day, and they're just like, all right, try to get as much out of this as you can, right? And let's get out of this position because look, I mean, huge volume came in here, right? So it's like so they gap it up and then they unload their positions in it, right? So and they're wealth management firms, right? I mean, so like. JP Morgan, I mean, they run like a huge wealth management department. So if they got tons of stuff laid out in portfolios in this thing, right, and they can give a good upgrade and gap this thing up a little bit, they can get out of it. It can, save their customers, their positions, so I mean, all that stuff. So, but either way, we could take advantage of that, right? So, I mean, we can't necessarily predict which way they're going to go, but we can use these to our advantage. So like Beyond, we put on our 15 orb list today, right? Because it's gapping up, right? Gap up on news, and the news is the upgrade, right? So we look for tactics around like those 15-minute bars, right? So Beyond is tricky, right? Inside 15 right here, barely gave a move back up to 15 orb. We never had a 15 orb break. We pretty much stayed in it all day, right? And this really wasn't a technical signal right here to get out, right? You had a possible inside right here to the downside, but that was about it, right? So but we try to use these to our advantage, right? So if we take we zone into the lower time frames. We had a lot of cloud in here, so we wouldn't mess with that. But this looks like, pretty decent go bar reversal right there. So, the real question is, did it tag? I mean, yeah, it tagged. So it's perfect go bar reversal right there. So these are the type of things we look for, and then we could trade that to the upside, right? It just gives these type of moves and the gaps give us more volatility, right? They give us more action, right? Instead of just like, oh, just here, Here this is like, oh man, this thing's back in play. Right, so it's gapping up. We got some potential moves on it and all that stuff. So we'll keep an eye on it too. It might give us another setup to the downside. But in the meantime, what it did do is give us a downward trendline breakout. So if it does get over today's highs, right, we could see a potential move back up. So let me actually let me draw this, and it's got a little 50-day moving average. It's so cute. Look at it. It's like, hey, I'm 50-day moving average. All right, let's see. So here. So I'll just put a little alert on Beyond right there. So something to keep an eye on. Yeah, give me 1 second. If it goes over the highs, I'm going to add that there. Okay. All right, good. Good. So yeah, Harvey, win. Oh, I know. Win is still going, guys. We had a swing on this one that is still going. It's beautiful. So those are the ones that we really like, right? So WYNN. We like the keep it goingers, as my friend Rob used to call it. So yeah, so win's going great here, guys. So nice, downward trend line break here, I think. Let me just wait till the drawing comes up. So with this little downward trend line here, nice break here. And if we actually went to a bigger downward trend line like this one, if we adjusted this, activate trend line here, down to the low, and then here, right? We can see this is the minor pivot break right over here, and we're pushing through that. So it's still looking strong, right? So this thing could continue to work itself up. It's over its 15 orb from earnings, and it could continue to work itself up, possibly start filling that gap. So that very, very nice on win. And then Xilinx. Oh yeah, Xilinx got crushed today, right? So news on Xilinx, I think like something about some whatever the garbage they produce, like had some issues with it. Oh yeah, security flaw in some of their trash. So yeah, so basically, it just got oofed today. So I mean, here it's like, oh, by the way, here people are trying to build like a constructive position, all this stuff. Oh, by the way, our products are really horrible. So I mean, pretty big move. But we've talked about selling how to play the news, right? And so what we do is we look for a 50% retrace right after the big move is over, right? And so what you can do is you go here, right, and look at that right off of that nice 50% move. Then we chopped around that 50% line for the rest of the day. So you get those big moves down, you look for those reclaims of those levels. So instead of shorting when that news comes out, you wait to wait till it gives a an actionable signal, right, to trade for a potential move, right? So here, even one thing you can do off of this is the initial move. You can do like an extension off of that. Like here, let's just say the news came here, even that move right here, right? You could look for it, look at that. So, right off of the 1.618 extension off of the initial move, you look to, buy, and look at that, gave a perfect move right here. So up, came down, tagged it one more time, that's your buy, right, to get up to the 50% line, which is about like right where it went to. So, you make 1.26 points off of that real quick off the news. It's ninja stuff, but good tactics. So yeah, good. So yeah, where it's going to go from now, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of closed in the middle of that range. It wasn't like Disney, which got a little bit of follow through to the downside. And Session, what's up? Looking at some Disney right here. So good stuff. Nice charts, Harvey. Alphabet soup. And now you guys know why I don't even have this on my watch list anymore. It's just blah. I mean, like the only thing you could trade is like, make a guess at earnings. Like here, guess puts. Okay, great, you made 100 points. Here, guess calls. Okay, you made 100 points, and then it's just untradeable, right? So today, just I don't know, it's being investigated by attorney generals and all that stuff, and it's just kind of in here. It's been so tough to trade. So I don't even really look at it. But anyway, you're kind of chopping right here. I don't even have like a general. Maybe this is kind of like a trend line-ish kind of area. I mean, just maybe bear flag. Sorry, it's just in general it kind of looks weak. But let's take a look and see if there's any go bar. Even the go bars on are like obnoxious, right? So I mean, you had a nice one right here, right? It's a 1040 bar, nice move up, and then you had one right here that touched and then kind of came down. But yeah, just Google's been really tough, and then a lot of times they just don't move. I mean, like the options like 2-point spreads, and then it gets up here and you make like 10 cents. It's like it's so tough to trade. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that. So, but yeah, I mean, in general, I mean, it's looking kind of constructive. It's just consolidating a lot now. I think it's probably just waiting until, I don't know, the next big tweet or something like that. So maybe they'll make a big acquisition. We were talking somebody's going to buy Twitter eventually, and so maybe it's Google. And if they do it, it should lose a little bit, then it'll look for reversal, and then it'll get strong again. I don't know. It's just an idea. But Disney has been in play. Had a real rough day yesterday, right? And actually it was nice because it originally gapped up above this minor pivot, right? It kind of pulled back, but I like where it closed today. It's actually looking swingable right here. I don't know if they if Disney ever came out and like retorted, some of the stuff. If anyone's been like whistle alleged company inflated revenue for years, we've heard that a million times. I just want to see if they ever came out and said like, no, we didn't, I don't really see like any kind of headlines right there, but eventually they're going to come out and defend themselves, right, against these accusations. So, but we'll see. Anyway, so big down move there, still holding this kind of downward trend line, right? So it tried to break out here, gave a nice minor pivot. So very, very possible. If anything, I like how constructive this was, right? So it kind of came down, hit the downward trend line, and then worked its way up. It's starting to work its way up. So if anything, it could have a decent move out, but just be careful in case the news that came out is actually true. Estee Lauder. So good stuff. It turned out we had this on our 30 orb list today. So you can see, like, we've talked about this before, but anytime you have a gap on earnings, right, or even a big gap, the next day, if you can get a little push over that, you can get a nice little scalp off of that, right? So it's like 203 to 206 off of that. So yesterday's high was 202.84. So if we kind of look at the price action here today, so here was yesterday's high. So you can see right at the open, right, have a nice push over yesterday's high, like right there. So give that big move, right? So that's good, and then it kind of chopped around for the rest of the day. But that's your tactical move right there. Just jump in right there and go, right? That's the idea at least. And so yeah, so where it's going from here, I mean, let's see. So today was also 30 orb day. It looks like it probably all was contained by the 30 orb. Yeah. So really not much movement today on the 30 orb, but it is consolidating, right? Nice little triangle right here. So it could give another breakout one way or the other. And then we'll just take a look at the candles right here. So yeah, so just look, a little top and tail, it might pull back a little bit and then start to work its way up. But this was really tough to trade with options at the open the other day, which stunk because it was a nice move. And then Tesla. It's actually 3 syllables. So Tesla loves to behave, just differently than the rest of the market, right? So, but right now, it is, it's kind of doing what everything else is doing, kind of this upward, downward trend line right here, minor pivot. So if we can get over today's highs, I think we can get some strength to it. And then let's just kind of look at the price action here today. A little weak into the close, and then we had. Yeah, wow, really, really big down move into the close, which is weird. Did some news come out after hours? Walmart sues Tesla over solar cells that allegedly spark fires. Great. That's great. Walmart is suing Tesla. Okay, well, there you go. Bearish. It's like saying that's always like the next big thing is like government sues Tesla. It's like, okay, it's done. Right? It's like stamps.com when it lost like the stamps contract. It's like, see ya. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal. So I can see why Tesla is down after hours, but it wasn't swingable long. And if you're in it long term, just see how it kind of holds out. I mean, you got a little gap down here, but here it just broke out of the upward trend line, so it needed at least some confirmation. We're gonna push over today's high is going to do that. It doesn't look like it's going to do that anytime soon, but Tesla could be the epic reversal. We'll see if they come out and how they try to defend that one. So wow, big down move after hours on that. Cool. Didn't miss movement, but close. What's up, SMDC4S? Good to see you, man. Hope you're feeling much better. Simple day trader, Netflix for short tomorrow. Let's take a look. Yeah, I mean, Netflix they just like battered today. It was just like, hey, welcome to the open. It's like, did anyone see that MMA fight? I didn't see it, but I was trying to get a GIF for it because it's so funny. But it was like the shortest MMA fight ever. Like the guy walks out and then the guy comes out and knees him in the head, and then he's out. It took 2 seconds. That's what this is right here. It's like an old Mike Tyson fight, right? Just, hey guys, how's it going? So, but anyway, guys, anybody who follows us in the live streams in the morning, here's your pre-market box, right? So that was your momentum move off of that. And really, honestly, it's not like it was unpredictable, right? I mean, I'm not saying we're predicting here, but look how it just kind of trended down, and even after market kind of drifted down, and then it continued to drift down, and then see ya, right? So it's not like it was really making any big moves, and we use that pre-market data. It really just kind of showed you that move right there. So yeah, really, really weak. So shorting into tomorrow, we'll see. We're just going to look at the price action. It's kind of flattened out for the rest of the day. We'll see if it flattens into the open. But yeah, in general, it's pretty weak, and it's been holding this. It's been below this downward trend line since way before earnings, and it got one pop over it yesterday, and then kind of came below it today, right? So kind of good stuff there. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on it. SMDC4S, Amazon, Facebook, Google, FTC, and 20 states going to break them up. Yeah. I know they said they were going to go easy on. They're saying, "Oh, we'll look at it," right? So it didn't. Yeah. So we'll see. BG Bob, not a second look. Oh, your second here. Okay. Yeah. It was good today. It was good at the open. So, but good stuff. But it's always worth a second look, right? Brad, Bzoon and Target both earnings. Cool. Bzoon. I don't know if I've traded that before. I've traded almost everything. but options and all that stuff. We had to take a look. So yeah, Bzoon has been looking good, right? Really, really nice. Oh wow, let me just draw a circle. Hold on, let me draw a line. So wow, that was way up there. That'd be interesting. Down here. I mean, yeah, it's a recent, pivot break and all that stuff. I love how it's been working its way up the cloud. I mean, you have this kind of minor bump and run right here. Really, really tight move and then up. Let's see how that's looking after hours. So it's kind of looking blah after hours here. So we'll see how that looks into the open. How's that look on options? Is it tradable? Monthlies, maybe. We can take a 30-cent spreads, 50-cent spreads. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, I'll add it to the 15 orb list for tomorrow. And then target should be fun, and lows for tomorrow too, right? So that should be interesting too. So Bizun, kind of drifting down a little bit, but we'll see if it gets a reversal on it. Target, Walmart sues Tesla. That's not good. It's like, oh man. Target, looks like they're buying that up after hours. We'll see how that goes into tomorrow. So that looks pretty interesting. If it is strong, right? I mean, it's pretty high up here. Gap and go. If we can get over 90 tomorrow, we got to just buy it at the open 90. Yeah, good stuff. SMBC4S, Microsoft frontrunner for Pentagon storage contract. Cool. Yeah, well, hopefully they don't use Symantec, which is being bought out by, what is it, Broadcom or whatever. It's like, really? So, but anyway, yeah, good stuff. Callsaw, thank you, my friend. TJF, TTD and Twitter. Yeah, so TTD is looking pretty good. This is on our watch list, kind of our swing watch list. I almost grabbed it at the close and just decided to wait a little bit. I mean, the options are really expensive when you go out to September, right? They're like $15 or something like that. So, call spreads are kind of the way to look at, but I really like how it kind of pulled back right here, tagged the cloud and came off of it. So I think, it's done, it had good earnings. It's just pulled back off of it. And, it could be a mover, right? Over the next couple days or whatever. So it's starting to look really strong on TTD. And then Twitter. So the one thing I liked about Twitter was that, kind of big move up. It's kind of broken out of it's over its triangle here on the shorter term time frames, right? It's put in a nice bull flag today, right? Had a big move up today on volume, had huge volume today, guys. And then, just a real controlled kind of pullback. And then, so looking for a potential move up on Twitter. So it looks really, really strong. Harvey, last one. BA, you're waiting for the last one. Oh, where's Shirley? I haven't seen her in a few days. So she's probably just banking it, right, with all her stuff. So we always miss Shirley. She always has some cool stocks. Boeing, not to be taken off the radar at all. I really, really like Boeing, right? I'm watching this pullback here. Nice minor pivot here that it gapped above, so it didn't give us an entry. It came down, right? We actually swung this. We made some money off of this recently. Back here, I think. Anyway, we made money off of this, and that's for a nice swing. And then pulled back a little bit. Yeah, I think we caught this, and then we got out. We took some profit, and then went down, and then here we are back to these levels. So it's looking pretty interesting, Harvey. It's still holding this former swing long level. So let's see how that holds on that, and then see if we can get some breakouts on that. I think there's some potential for a reversal on Boeing. So anyway, good stuff. Paul, my friend, good to see you, man. Hang loose. Everything's good. And everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for all the questions and for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely subscribe on YouTube. We do this every market night. Do chart requests, go over cool technical ideas or new series discussions and all that stuff. So it's lots of fun here. And check out all the links in the description. Links to Twitter, links to Positive Trends, and really appreciate everybody for tuning in. So enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great evening. Thanks, guys.